Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Zaki. Thanks for a great introduction and also for this opportunity. It's my pleasure to be here and give a talk about the Quantum Games Hackathon that we are organizing now in Poland. So the event is organized by the Quantum AI Foundation, which is a NGO organization in Poland supporting research, education, collaboration in new technologies, especially quantum computing. But members of the organizing committee are also from QWORD and Q Poland. And the goal of this presentation, in fact, is to just, of course, let you know about this hackathon, how it is designed, what's the idea, what's the structure, and also I'm very open to your feedback because we haven't started advertising this event yet. We are going to start it at the beginning of September, so potentially we can still modify some assumptions, some ideas. So I believe that many of you may have quite a good experience with quantum games and maybe also organizing similar events. So that's why I'm very open to your feedback and to discussions, to questions. So let's start. So the goal of this hackathon is to popularize quantum computing and enhance innovations in the quantum computing domain, especially quantum games, because we believe that quantum games might be one of most interesting applications of the near-term quantum computers, and we thought that this might be a very good idea and very good opportunity for creative people who have some interesting ideas for developing computer games. So this hackathon will start on 25th of September and it will last until 3rd of October this year. It will be a remote-only event. So for the communication, we'll use Discord and Zoom. The contest is open for participants being at least 18 years old from any country, in fact. So it's organized by organizations from Poland, but everyone can apply. The current idea is to start registration on 1st of September and run it until 23rd of September. We expect to have at most 100 participants, so we also reserve the right to make a selection in the case of a large number of registrations. The selection will be based mostly on experienced quantum competences in programming, software engineering, especially in quantum technologies. All invited people will receive an email with the details, including the exact agenda and the link to the Hackathon's Discord server. And on the first day, on 25th of September, participants will be asked to form teams of 1 to up to 5 members. So it is possible to participate individually, but of course we believe that having mix of skills and different perspectives, different points of views, different experiences might be an advantage. So we rather encourage people to form teams, but of course participating individually is also possible. All teams will be asked to submit a link to a publicly available Git repository, for example, on GitHub, with the code of the project that should be an open source project. So currently, we propose that all the solutions should be prepared and made publicly available under the MIT license. And besides submitting the code, there should be also a video recording up to 5 minutes with a presentation of the solution. And these two parts of the solution will be later graded, evaluated by our jury. So what are the criteria? The first criteria is correctness. So are the assumptions and usage of quantum mechanics and quantum computing appropriate? So of course we want to have quantum games and correct quantum games. Playability. So is it entertainment for the users? Is it really an interesting game? Is there any educational or development potential for the target group? Is there a nice user interface? Originality, the third criteria. how creative and innovative the idea is. And finally, the quality and completeness. So is the game completed and ready to play? Is it well documented? Is the interface ready? So these are the criteria that will be used by our judges. And we are planning to give prizes for the three best projects. So these are just awards in Polish currency, in Polish zloty. So you can check what might be the amounts in some other currencies if you are interested, of course. And besides working on the projects, working on quantum games, we've also planned some additional activities, additional opportunities for our participants. So the idea is that on the first day, on 25th of September, we'll start the hackathon at noon, more or less. So these times are in Central European time. There will be, of course, a kickoff lecture presenting the rules and the exact agenda. And of course, there will be opportunity to just ask questions and already start discussion with other participants. Later, there will be a matchmaking event that will be organized using Zoom. So in Zoom, as you know, as you probably know, there is an option to just create breakout rooms to which participants can potentially join however they want. So they can just decide individually which room they would like to visit. So we are planning to prepare several breakout rooms for such a matchmaking event. And of course, we will also give some advices to our participants on how to form teams. Later, there will be a lecture given by Piotr Biskupski from IBM Poland. There will be a lecture about quantum games. And also, there will be another lecture given by Piotr Gawron, Professor Piotr Gawron, about, so in fact, here the title is the same, Quantum Games, but in fact, it will be a lecture about one specific quantum game that Piotr developed some time ago. After these two lectures, there will be again matchmaking part, and we think that the members, at least the participants, who already find and form a team, can already start working on the projects. But later on the first day, there will be also one more lecture about developing quantum games in a browser using JavaScript. So this will be given by Piotr Migdał, who has quite good experience in developing quantum games using JavaScript. On the second day, there will be a lecture about playability and, in general, designing games. It will be given by Artur Roszczyk, who is a representative of one Polish company working in the game industry, computer game industry. Later, there will be a lecture about Quantum Odyssey. So it's also interesting quantum game project. The title is Linear Algebra. Is actually a fun video game. And finally, there will be a lecture about designing user interface for quantum games. It will be given by Clem Jankiewicz. So later, our participants will have several days to work on the project. So contrary to many other hackathons, this time the participants will have 9 days, in fact, to develop their projects. So the final day is, in fact, 1 week after. So again, it will be a Sunday. And at noon is a deadline for submitting solutions. And just after this deadline, our jury will have a meeting to just assess, grade, and select best solutions. And hopefully we'll be able to announce the winners at about 8 p.m. on the last day. So basically, that's the general idea behind this hackathon. As I said, the registration is not open yet, so we are planning to start it at the beginning of September, on 1st of September. If you are interested, I can later send you also a link to a draft of the website that we are developing. So in fact, it's almost finished. So there are still some small details that we have to finalize, but the website is also almost ready. And I think this is all. So if you have some questions, if you have some interesting ideas on how we can improve the design, the idea behind this hackathon, I'm very open to hear your feedback, your ideas, and of course, we invite you to register and to participate in this hackathon. Thank you for your attention. I can see that there is one question. Will the talks be available for non-participants? Hopefully, yes. So we are planning to record these lectures, these talks, and later the recordings will be available on our YouTube channel, on the YouTube channel of the Quantum AI Foundation. So of course, in order to record these talks and make them publicly available, we'll need formal consents from our speakers. So in most cases, there will be no problem with this, but it is possible that in some cases, will not get such a formal consent for publication. But most likely it will not be possible to join the Zoom so without participating in the hackathon. So we'll think about it, but this is just due to the fact that there is a limit for the number of participants. So if we have many participants, then it is possible that we'll not be able to just invite people who haven't registered. So this is one thing. Also, another thing is that since these talks will be, in most cases, will be recorded, then also we may need some formal consents from all the people attending such a recorded meeting on Zoom, let's say, just in case we record someone's face or personal data. There is another question. Do you have any quantum games suggestions we can refer to? So in fact, yes. So I believe that there will be also a lecture later today, probably even just after my lecture, about some possible quantum games. But this was also one of this was also one of the idea behind just designing this agenda, right? There will be several lectures, several talks of our invited speakers about some quantum games, just to give inspirations to people. So there will be at least 2 such talks on the first day, and also I believe that this workshop about JavaScript will be in fact about Quantum Flytrap, which is a quantum game being developed by Piotr Migdał and his team. So most likely there will be at least 3 quantum games presented on the first day, and at least 1 quantum game, so Quantum Odyssey, presented on the 4th day. But we agreed with one of the speakers that, with Piotr Biskupski, that in his lecture, he will cover many more games. And I know that there are some prepared spreadsheets with a list of some identified existing quantum games. So I believe that Zeki can tell a bit more about it. So I'm not sure, Zeki, if you would like to just cover it now or later. But I remember that you've shared some links with me.
Yeah, and in the next talk by Anant and Ana Maria, there will be a huge collection of quantum games that people can actually check and refer to, let's say, in a sense. Okay. And other than that, maybe you can, or the person who is asking the question, can watch the last year's edition of Let's Talk Quantum Games. There were presentations by Piotr, Laur, so basically on Quantum Flytrap, Quantum Odyssey, and Q Logic by another team. So there were 3 quantum games that were presented last year, so you can check those.
Great, thank you, Zeki. Do we have any more questions? I don't see more questions, so I think that maybe we can finish. But as I said, I will also post on chat a link to a draft of our website. So most likely the link will be the same. So we are still just adjusting the content, but the link will be the same. So I will just share it on chat. And there will be also later on the 1st of September, there will be also a link to the registration form published. And of course, we'll be advertising this event on different channels in social media, on different groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter.
Yeah, thank you, Pavel. And
Okay.
also, I have a question as well. Do you want GitHub repositories from everyone, or just as an end product?
So in fact, our idea was that there should be one Git repository project, of course, but yes, we want to have. So we'll also think about it, because maybe we can just create one Git repository for all projects, but I believe that probably it will be easiest to have just separate repositories for different projects.
But for the projects, right? So it
Yes.
will be after the matchmaking part.
Yes, it will be after the matchmaking. Yes. So so the teams will be asked to submit a link at the end. So on the third day, on the last day, sorry, on 3rd of August, there will be also a Google Forms for submitting solutions. But this Google Forms will be relatively simple, because there will be just a field to paste the link to the GitHub repository and maybe some checkbox to just agree on some documents for just processing data or something like this.
And
so
you are planning to license all of these games under so they will be open
yes,
source.
so for sure we want all these projects to be open sourced, and we are thinking about it, what should be our policy regarding the licenses, right? So currently the idea is that all the licenses should be just an MIT license. So in fact, I have one doubt related to this. So the problem is that there might be some open source projects on different licenses, like GPL, for example, which some of teams may want to use in their projects. And then due to the fact that this is, let's say, GPL, then it will not be possible to just publish the whole project under the MIT license. So this is something that we are still considering, what might be the best option, that because maybe we can just allow any arbitrary open source license, or maybe some set of open source licenses.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking this is, so in our hackathon, we do not enforce something like this, so they don't have to make their game open source. Do you think that open source games would have either higher quality, or that people can later use them for other projects? So in that way, there will be a spillover effect.
Yes, so in fact, the idea was that first of all, it might be easier to grade and to assess the projects, because our members of the jury can just check the code and see how exactly quantum technologies are used, and for example, whether the project was developed from scratch, or is it just an extension of some other project, right? So it might be easier to just correctly assess the project. So this is one thing. And another thing is indeed that we would like at least the best projects to be developed further. And of course, we understand that some people, so if some ideas are very good, then some people may not be happy to just open their code, right? But anyway, we believe that within 7 days, it might be difficult to just develop the complete quantum game, the complete project. So it will be rather a prototype. So this prototype can be available under the open source license. But later, if someone would like to work on the project further and make the code close, then it might be possible to just start developing it, maybe not exactly from scratch, but develop it as a closed source project, let's say.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So, does anyone else have questions for Pavel?
Okay.
Okay, apparently not. So, thank you, Pavel.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.